Hi, I'm Kathleen Warm. I don't even know my own name. Kathleen Wyman, of Humorous Women's Fiction. That's a good start, isn't it? But I do know your name. I'm as part of the Author Talks series. I am so thrilled to have a publishing powerhouse with me today,
Oh, shush.
Sara-Jade Virtue. You're amazing, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really good. Thank you for asking.
Oh, it's lovely to have you here. Right, I'm going to read your biography, which you've achieved so much it could well take the full 20 minutes of the interview. I'll try and speak fast without getting out of breath. Here we go. So, Sarah Jade, or SJ, has worked in the book industry for 23 years, starting at Waterstone's head office in the fiction buying team. For the past 18 years, SJ's been at Simon Schuster and has been brand development director since 2019, working across the commercial women's fiction list, identifying new talent and developing growth strategies for brand and emerging authors. As if that wasn't enough, SJ runs the Simon Schuster Books and the City community, which she launched on Valentine's Day 2011. She manages the Digital Originals Publishing Programme and One Day Open Submission Project. SJ leads the Jackie Collins Legacy Publishing Programme and many collaborations and partnerships with retailers, media, libraries, and literary festivals. There's more. Um, SJ works with the Romantic Novelists Association as industry spokesperson for the Respect Romfic movement, aiming to increase the profile of romantic novelists in the UK. Woohoo! Is co-founder and co-director of the Love Stories, etc. Literary Festival that returned to Manchester Central Library for a second year this July. And it's also a volunteer. How you find the time for this at your local community library? And we
Can I
just,
just interrupt and say one really important thing?
yeah,
Today, the RNA announced the first of their newly relaunched um, Romance Industry
yeah,
Awards, and Manchester Central Library won Library of the Year.
that is,
So I'm so happy
yeah.
for them. Like myself and Alice Murphy Powell, who works at Harper North, who created the Love Stories, etc. festival, are absolutely made up for Danny and the team at Manchester. They are, powerhouses, one and all. So yeah, so
Oh,
it
oh,
feels nice to be able
congratulations.
to talk about them on the day that they won the
Yeah.
Library of the Year. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's fantastic. And I bet there was a lot of competition as well. Our libraries are so
Well, I
wonderful.
imagine anyone who has ever been to or engaged with their local library in this community of romance readers, writers, and, fans will have nominated their own library for the works that they do. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm imagining there was a lot of competition. So, yeah, I'm really pleased for them.
Oh, congratulations. And I'm sure having the festival there must have helped, must have been a real draw. So well done to you and the team.
Yeah, I think so. Who knows?
Yes, but congratulations all round. That is brilliant news. Um, you're also taking part in Bournemouth Romance Writing Festival on October the 18th. So
Yes.
yeah, how you found time to do this interview today, I will never know, but I'm extremely grateful. So if we start off with, you've been in the industry for 23 years. How has the publishing industry changed in that time?
I mean, immeasurably, if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
and whether that's kind of from a format perspective. So when I first joined the industry, so we talk about the industry both from a reader, writer, publisher, agent, retailer perspective. If you look at it in its entirety, um, ebooks were in their infancy. Audiobooks were only available in cassette
Mm.
when I joined, and I don't, you'll know what this means, Kathleen, because this is not your first time at the rodeo, but paperback A format was the chosen size for romance and sagas. So, not what we now see on the shelves of supermarkets and the like, which is called paperback B, the smaller format, paperback A format. That was the kind of the given choice of size. Social media hadn't been invented. We still had books, etc., and Otakers and Borders on every high street. Amazon hadn't taken over the world. Um, Spreadsheets hadn't been
Mm.
invented. Influencers didn't exist. And the idea, I suppose, that a self-published author could become a Sunday Times best-selling author was just ridiculous. Like, of course, like there wasn't such a thing as the ease now that you can become a self-publishing phenomenon. But I suppose for me, what hasn't changed is that readers are still reading and writers are still writing, and actually the rest of it is just gravy. Because fundamentally, it's about connecting readers to writers and vice versa. And whilst technology has changed and the way that we consume the medium of books has changed, great writing is still great writing and great books are still great books. So everything's changed at the same time as nothing, I
Yeah.
suppose, is my take on it. It is all just gravy, you
Yeah.
know.
Like you said, actually, the most important thing has remained the same, hasn't it? The writing and the
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's what I don't think anyone gets into, if you like, this game on whatever end of the game you're involved in for anything other than a love of books. Like, I just genuinely don't think that the people that work in this industry, let's like, we're not nurses, we're not, saving the world from poverty and starvation, but nobody gets into this game because if they don't have a passion for books, whatever books, kids' books, non-fiction, you do you. But no one gets into this game and tries to earn a living out of it because let's be honest, none of us are millionaires that work in publishers. Um,
And it's incredibly hard
uh,
work.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
you've got to love it. Yeah.
you really have to love it. It's
Yeah.
almost a vocation whilst at the same time not being a vocation at all because it is fundamentally a job. But yeah, some of us are very lucky to do it and some of us wish we could.
Yes. And although, yes, it's not saving lives, but books are so invaluable. You're never alone if you've got a good book. They really
Mm,
create an escape. And libraries, bookshops, anywhere you can go, and the community surrounding it, it is really important.
yeah.
It really is
Yeah, it
important.
is. And that, there was a time, because I remember doing it myself, where as a reader, the only access that you had to an author was writing a letter and putting a stamp on it and putting it in the post, with no hope or dream of ever getting a reply. But now readers can connect with their favourite writers in a nanosecond through the medium of the tinterweb and feel like they have a genuine connection. Some people think they have, you know, the right to have a genuine connection.
Mm.
And maybe they do, maybe they don't. That's a discussion for another day. But, the idea that I could send a tweet or a DM to one of my favourite authors when I got into this industry was like nonsense. But now you can interact with your favourite authors and you can tell them how much you love their books. And if they're incredibly generous and kind and lovely and forgiving, they'll reply to you. And as someone, yes, I work in the industry, but fundamentally, I'm the same as everybody else. I'm a reader,
Mm.
and the idea that, I booked a ticket because, of course, I did to an event last week that was happening in London. And it was a sort of shopaholic and friends night for Sophie Kinsella. And there was Sophie herself was there, which was incredible because I hadn't seen her for years. But also there was Lisa Jewell, there was Mike Gale, there was Jojo Moyes, a host of incredible other authors, all organised by Jenny Colgan. And I've read these authors' books and loved them for years. And I walk into a room and they're like, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, I still go in my head, hell, they know who, like, you know.
Mm.
And I get the same thrill that anyone walking into a bookshop does, seeing their favourite author there at a signing table and saying, "Would you mind signing it for, SJV?" And I'm exactly the same as everybody else. Anyway, I'm digressing. See, I go off on a tangent.
No,
I'm a
it's lovely.
ridiculous human.
No,
Sorry,
it's
crack on.
No, it's lovely. And as an author, when if I ever I get a message from a reader saying they enjoy my books, honestly, it makes my day, my week. It's so
Yeah,
lovely to receive. It
yeah,
really, yeah.
yeah. And all those cold nights in the shed with just your fingerless gloves on for company all seem worthwhile, don't
Well,
they?
yes. Right, so Romance Writing Festival, October the 18th, it's
Yes.
going fast. So you're running an introduction to trade publishing workshop. Can you give us
Mm.
a sneak preview of what you're going to be talking about?
So I've actually got like a 32-page presentation, which takes a debut author pretty much from sort of a blank empty page to seeing their book on the shelves of as other supermarkets are available. But to be honest, the most important subjects that I'm going to be talking about are how to nail your synopsis and your pitch, and when you've typed the end for the very first time, what you should do next. So they're the most important things. Like the rest of it is how publishing works, how trade publishing. So, because I work for a trade publishing house, a lot of people ask me things about how can I self-publish my book, and I'm like, I don't know
Mm.
because
Yeah,
that's not what I
you do.
do.
Yeah.
I work for a trade publishing house. So I can tell you how it works in trade. If you want to know how it works as a if you want to get into self-publishing, and you should always explore every available opportunity to bring your work to a consumer, like look at places online that tell you how to do that. But yeah, synopsis and pitch.
Mm. You said about writing the end. I remember when I typed the end of my first novel thinking, yes, I've done it. Little did I know I should
Yeah. Oh,
be beginning.
now you know.
Yes. But yes, pitch and synopsis so important, obviously, because that's your first step approach to a publisher or an agent. So where do most people go wrong, or what are the pitfalls people can fall into?
I suppose, firstly, really, by either not having them at all
Yeah.
or by not understanding what they're used for by agents and publishers. So, unless you are hitting the inbox of a publisher directly, so it's really, I know it's really annoying because the word publisher means both a human individual that is publishing your book and the publishing house they work for. So I'm both a publisher and I work for a publisher. So that's the first thing that's quite,
Mm.
this industry is like just bonkers. So nothing makes sense in a lot of ways. But your synopsis and your pitch will be used differently by both agents and publishers. So one size has to fit all, unfortunately. So what you put in, like comp titles, for example, so comparing your work to either an individual book or a body of work by another author where you have a similar tone and feel, or to something like the latest Netflix series. Like comps are really useful because one of the reasons is it helps us understand that you understand what you're writing and who for. So that's really helpful for publishers. But also what to keep out. So a lot of synopsis that I've seen over the years are, will they find love again? Question mark. And I'm like, why are you asking me a question? It's your job in your synopsis to tell me
Yes.
that they find love again. Like there's this, like I think a lot of people think of a synopsis as like the blurb on the back of the book or marketing material, and it's not. It's supposed to be the what happens to who, how, why, when, and where. And
Yes.
don't ask a question of me because that's your job to tell me if they find love again. Like this makes me sound like a one of those people, but it's like we're professional readers. This is what we do for a living. Don't ask questions of us. You're supposed to provide the answers. And the purpose of that synopsis is to make us desperate to read the manuscript. So desperate that we will give up again another evening and another weekend to consume your work.
Yeah.
It's not like a like teasing for us in the same way that it would be a shout line on the front of a book. So it's those kind of things. It's like don't have one or not knowing what they're used for. So yeah, they're the things.
Yeah, well, you've got to know that they know what's going to happen in the story and that it works, don't you?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I expect you to know the size of your main character's feet, what toothpaste they like, how old they are, you know, what hairstyle they had as a kid, because no one knows your characters
Yeah.
better than you. And I want to feel that as a reader. I want to feel that these are fully formed, authentic humans, and that I could ask you what their favourite subject of school was and you'd know.
Yeah.
Like, that's about character building, and that's really important in commercial fiction. So yeah, I need to have faith in what you're bringing to my table. So yeah,
Are there any red flags with a submission or pitch?
I mean, this is going to sound really simple, but mostly it's like the really clunky things. So the authors that I've had the privilege of working with, that I've edited, say that I use clunky as, like, when I'm editing, like clunky. But it's things like repetition of words, feelings, dialogue, phrases. And it's things that make me think that you haven't self-edited your work before sending it to me, or before having it submitted.
Mm.
And it's quite important. And this is something I've learned over the years, having extensively edited, is that actually an editor's role isn't to rewrite someone's novel for them. It's to help that author bring the very best version of their book to life.
Yes.
So actually, in a submission, like, I can't tell how many times I've had submissions that purport to be a rom-com that I don't find either funny or romantic.
Mm.
So that can be really aggravating. It's not a red flag as such, but it's like, don't tell me it's something that it isn't.
Yeah.
Like, I think most people that do submit their work to me know that what I love most is a rom-com. I also love to laugh and cry in the same sentence, but that's what I love the most. So I think a lot of people hope, or a lot of people I have experienced over the years that send me their submissions on these open day submission programs that I run, they're like, oh, I'll say it's a rom-com because then she'll read it.
Mm.
But like, I'm not an idiot. But yeah, like all readers though, really, I just don't want to read a book that I've read before.
Yeah.
So that would be a red flag. You know, if you tell me it's like one of my favourite novels, and actually it is a retelling of one of my favourite novels,
Mm.
like, I don't, you know, I wouldn't read that.
Yeah. We don't need to. You've already read it.
No, I've already read it.
Yes. So you've also got another session at the Romance Writing Festival.
Mm,
Yes, one wasn't
it
enough.
sounds
As you one like
hilarious.
you, yeah, slay the slush pile. That does sound brilliant. So
Yeah.
one of the industry experts listening to people's opening novels, of unpublished novels, this is, I should say. So what
Mm.
kind of opening grabs you?
I mean, it's all very personal, isn't it? So I could ask you the same thing and you would have a different answer. And I think
No, no, I just
there's
look at
kind
yours,
of
it
this,
make me sound better.
you're hilarious. But there is that kind of thing. I think there's this thing that in some way, some debut unpublished authors think that in some way people that work in publishing houses are different to them. So I want exactly, but completely different to what they want when they buy a book off, like when they're buying a book. So for me personally, which kind of flows through in my job, because it is my job as well, is I really like to be immediately into the story. Even if there's a prologue, don't get me started on prologues. I want to be right there, immersed in it, right from the first sentence. And I only read in the commercial space, not in the literary space at all. And 99.9% of what I've read for the past 40 years is romance. So I've got a pretty sharp sense of what I'm going to connect with. So whether it's the language, or whether it's beautiful storytelling, or it's the characters, or it's the dialogue, I kind of can tell very quickly whether I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in it straight away.
Mhm.
So that immediacy of the story, I'm not saying the plot has to start from the first sentence, but I want to feel that I'm in safe hands.
Yes.
Like, that you've written a story I've not read before, with characters I believe in, with dialogue where not every character says the other character's name every time they address them, because that's another big plunk alert for me. It's like, you know, in normal dialogue, that's another thing in the introduction workshop I'm going to do. Like, I think I suppose the people I speak to most every day are my colleagues at work because I'm here 10, 11 hours a day. And I don't think I use any of their names when I talk to them. And yet, for some reason, dialogue in some of the books that I read, it's like me saying your name 100 times in a conversation. Hi, Kathleen, how are you? I'm fine, Kathleen, how are you? What did you have for lunch, Kathleen? I don't know. What did you have? Like, we don't talk to people like that.
No, it's
So
just
things
their
like that,
attention, really. Yeah.
gets right on my nerves.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I trust my gut, to be honest, when
Mm.
I'm sort of first reading work, but I give everything at least 3 chapters. Everything that I'm sent, I read the first 3 chapters because, you know, one has to.
That's really nice of you because you must get sent a hell of a lot.
Oh, I do. It's ridiculous.
Are there any other things that put you off that even though you feel you're going to give it 3 chapters from the start, you're like, oh,
I mean, I do have a few things, but they're more so kind of not from the get-go. So unnecessary flouncy words. Like no one wants to have to carry a thesaurus with them when they're reading commercial fiction. It's
mhm,
supposed to be fun. Um, I don't like sort of forced cliffhangers at the end of chapters, as if like someone's going da 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 at the end of every chapter. Like not every story needs that. Um, Not enough or too much dialogue, not enough or too much scene setting, you know. Characters with two similar names.
yeah,
Like don't have a Mel and a Nell or, Tim and Tom or
mm,
because it's not funny, it's just confusing,
yeah, yeah.
I think.
It does
But
take much to confuse me, so no, I need to,
yeah, things like that.
yeah,
But again, I don't think as part of my role to when I read professionally, I don't think that differs from when I'm reading for pleasure.
no,
Like I think the same rules apply because fundamentally all the reading I do is even if it is for work, all the read I do should be for it should be a pleasurable
to enjoy it,
experience.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the same rules apply.
Well, how you found time to read all those submissions? Because as I was saying about the very long biography, among other things, you are industry spokesperson for the Respect Romfic movement. You run the Books
Mm.
in the City community, and you lead the Jackie Collins Legacy Publishing Program. I don't know if you can briefly tell us a little bit more about those initiatives, or if there's any one particular one you want to focus on.
I suppose really the RNA, in fairness, the RNA kicked off the Respect Romfic movement. And it was in December 21, I think. Yeah, 21. When a national newspaper published a roundup of the best books from every genre, bar romance, missed romance out entirely. And there was a call to action very much driven by the RNA, with hundreds of readers and writers and publishers of the genre voicing their anger, basically. We were all livid about it. The contribution to the literary landscape was yet again, at best being ignored and at worst being dismissed. So a few months after that, in the early part of 2022, that must have been. All those years are very hazy, aren't they? I thought, you know what, bugger it. Someone in the industry needs to kind of pick up the mantle here because we are an industry. We are made up of businesses, and the damage done by that to the the readers, writers of the genre was immeasurable, being dismissed so
Mm.
obviously and completely. So I kind of thought, okay, someone in the industry needs to kind of focus us a little bit. So we've now got about 500 people actively engaged in it's all behind the scenes stuff. So it's really boring stuff like thema codes and BISAC codes and bit codes and annoying things that no one outside the industry needs to know about. But it's really important work that those books that feature a love story at the heart of them are correctly coded by their publishing houses. And when I say correctly, like everything is up for interpretation. My viewpoint is that if your novel features a romance at its core, a love story in its fullest term at its core, it should be given a romance thema code. Many are given general and literary fiction for reasons, let's say. But if we don't code those books to romance, the volume and value that those books don't add to our genre can be millions.
Mm.
And these books will repeatedly and continually be dismissed out of hand if, you know, if they're not correctly apportioned their actual true value to the industry, both for inside the industry and externally as well. So it's kind of a really big kind of, some of it is really tedious because it's about money and stuff, stuff like that. But I'm really proud of it actually because we've made a lot of headway into kind of, you know, asking people to, I say do better, that's unfair, but like just pay more attention to it.
Yeah, be more aware. Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. And the Jackie Collins program is like an utter joy, I have to say. Um, and we re-released. So obviously Jackie passed away, and um, Jackie still is my all-time favorite author. And the fact that I work at the house that published her, I mean, it's like pinch me. So I used to see her every year, twice a year,
Yeah.
like ridiculous. So I started this legacy program where I invited some of her biggest fans, other writers that are some of her biggest fans, to write new introductions. And we've been re-releasing these new editions with these intros with a new package, 31 books in total. And the project will end in September next year on what would have been her 89th birthday. So yeah, it's one of the, one of the things I'm most proud of doing, I have to say. But yeah, she was like, what a woman.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
woman.
She was. I loved that documentary about her. She was, yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Did you see my name in the credits, Kathleen?
Of course, darling. That's why I watched it.
I was so lucky. It was so jammy. The production company, this Passion Pictures production company, an all-woman production company, and a award-winning female director that made the program, and obviously worked really closely with Jackie's family for all of that incredible archive material, had reached out very early in the process to Simon and Schuster, and so I was really lucky. I got to work with them on, pulling stuff together and stuff. I was actually filmed for it, but then luckily I ended up on the cutting room floor because I just spent the whole time crying about how much I missed her. It was really embarrassing, and how much I still love Hollywood Divorces and read it every year, and
Embarrassing.
that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Imagine
thank
how
God
happy
it wasn't
that
used.
made her. Yeah. But yeah, and of course
Awful.
Judy Cooper died this week as well.
Mm,
So two absolute legends, so
yeah,
iconic. And everyone I think who's into romance has read and loved their books. Do you have
yeah.
any stories or anecdotes about either women that you can share?
So I only had met Gilly once, actually at an RNA Awards. I think she was either being recognised as like the outstanding contribution, or she was giving an award for the outstanding contribution. I can't really remember, but she was tiny for a start, like tiny little lady, adorable with a wicked glint in her eye. But in my formative years, so I was 16 when I read my first Jackie Collins, and very much in back in those days, that's quite a long time ago, you were either Team Jackie or Team Jilly, in fairness. So whilst I have obviously read Jilly, Jackie was sort of sex workers in Hollywood, and Jilly was like posh people horse riding in the Cotswolds. So I was very early doors team Jackie,
Yeah.
um, and then remain so, till this day and until I die, I'll be team Jackie. My favourite story about Jackie, though, I got two, but I'll tell you one. Um, so Jackie wore a work uniform when she was on, which was she had 50 pairs of identical black ankle boots,
Wow.
100 pairs of black identical slacks, pants, trousers, as we would say. And she designed her own custom made jackets. So all of those bling-tastic, glamorous, glitzy jackets she designed, but she called it her work uniform. So when she was on, she looked incredible, exactly what you want a
Yeah.
1980s romantic thriller best-selling author who was a Brit first and foremost, but had immersed herself, in Hollywood. And that was her work uniform. Like we would put on, I don't know, like I don't know,
Something
I
that's
can't even
not
think,
pajamas.
like literally, that, yeah, literally. But yeah, and
Mm.
also that her favourite sandwich was a prawn cocktail from M&S. So when she was over
Keeping it
every year,
real.
she came over twice. And one of us used to pop down to the big Marble Arch M&S when it was there. I think it's closed now, I'm not really quite sure. And pick her up a couple of prawn cocktail sandwiches. So
It
yeah,
should be open with a blue plaque outside, shouldn't it? Stating that.
yeah, yeah,
You've got
yeah.
to get
God,
sandwiches.
I love Jackie.
Mm.
First time I ever met her at S&S, when I first worked at S&S, we were in our old building, which was on Africa House in High Holborn, in Africa House on High Holborn. And I'd walked into the office and she was on, at the time, I worked with this guy called Rob Cox, who was one of the marketeers in our marketing team. And she was sat at his desk on his wheelie chair, wheeling herself round and round. And I just stood there dumbfounded because it was Jackie in the flesh in my work office. And I burst into tears
Oh.
because I was so overwhelmed because no one expects to see Jackie Collins sitting on a wheelie chair. And I burst into tears and she went, "But darling, everything's fabulous." I was like, "Oh my God." Like, one of the highlights of my life, I have to say. She was everything that you would have expected her to be in real life, like just awesome. I still miss her. But yeah,
Oh. So whoever said don't meet your heroes had not met her because she definitely
they
was.
had not met Jackie. Honestly, the most incredible woman, like incredible. Anyway,
That's lovely. We are running out of time, I'm afraid. I don't.
boo!
I know, because it could carry on for ages, but I can't thank you enough for your time. Really
Oh,
appreciate
you're
you
welcome.
coming on, and lucky people who are going to the Romance Writing Festival to attend your workshop and say the slush part sessions. If you haven't bought your tickets yet, then go to romancewritingfestival.co.uk, get your tickets. 18th of October. Have a fabulous time, and thank you, SG, so much. It's been an absolute joy speaking to you.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. It's great to see you, and I'm looking forward to meeting everyone in Bournemouth.
Yes, have a brilliant time. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.